Ooh, come on and come on, boys and ghouls, to the Why Do Boys Make podcast, the spookiest podcast this side of the Mason-Dixon. Join me on this journey through the Why Do Boys Play Games Fantasy Football League. But fear not, young traveler, for we are not alone on that path. With us on the night of All Hallows Eve is the Grand Master of Gamerscore, the Emperor of Achievements. It's Sean, the Body Snatcher Fitzgerald. Sean, how you doing, Sean? How you doing tonight?
Boo! Gotcha. That was a pretty good jump scare. We got a few of those planned tonight. The listener is in for a special little treat here on this, still a week before Halloween episode of the pod, but it's the Halloween edition. We're in the spirit.
Well, this will be the last. Oh, there will be no. No, this will be the last episode before Halloween, right?
It'll be the last one that the listeners get to see.
Right.
Of course, will probably record closer to Halloween. But hey, it's the Halloween episode.
I just really wanted to host the Halloween episode, to be honest.
Let's strap it in, get that blood sugar rush in you, and have yourselves a great Friday or Saturday. We'll see when this one comes out.
That's right, and we'll see what. Speaking of seeing, let's see what our three friends who watch this podcast had to say this week.
Very spooky. Colin's relocated to the spooky as we get into the first comment.
Here we got Adam, our good friend Adam. He says first. I don't understand. Can you see original, please?
At first, I thought it was onest, but yes, of course, he is first.
Thank you, Google.
And Adam gives me one. I really appreciate any Gilmore Girls talk we can fit into the pod. Rory is annoying. She's just a confused teen, though, so it's chill. That is exactly what we believe. And I say, right, it's so well written. Not specifically Adam. I just think the character is really well written. When Alex was a confused young teen, she thought Rory was the coolest. And only looking back does she realize kind of how Rory is written in the show. You ever see any Gilmore Girls, Colin?
Let's discard this narrative that she's just a confused teen. Am I the only one who watched A Year in the Life? So what? She was just a bratty kid, and now she's a bratty adult? She's a terrible person. She's got no self-awareness. She takes no accountability for her actions. There's been no growth. I mean, she's well written in the way that Joffrey Baratheon is well written.
Okay, fair.
She sucks.
I don't think she's quite Joffrey Baratheon, but I get the point you're making there, Colin. I get the point.
Through the first season or two, everything before Stanford, pretty much, kind of. I'm fine with it. I had a big crush on her as a kid, but once she started dating Logan, it was just all downhill from there. I'm always gonna stand for Team Jess, but he deserves so much better than her anyway. I mean, he was a jerk to her in high school. He didn't deserve her. But then the inverse was true. So, it's just. I think it's kind of a criminal what they did to the character, but I mean, I guess only because I was rooting for her. But it's if they took her on the path they did, and like you said, I don't have a problem with the writing itself. I wanted her to win.
The only spot where I really have a problem with the writing in that show is this constant will they, won't they with Luke, and when they finally do, they break up over some stupid bullshit. I'm glad they had that year in the life to try to right some wrongs there.
Here's for second year in the life.
Yeah, let's keep it going. And not a second, but a third comment from Adam says, okay, I saw the first two Sam Raimi Spider-Mans. I didn't know those were Marvel, honestly. Also, definitely never seen an episode of Family Guy. Survivor.
Oh, is that your response? Is that's Adam's thing? Is Survivor?
He's survived, yes.
He says his favorite. Oh shit, I forgot. My favorite thing about Dan Marino, my MJ Lenderman, is when he talks about seeing dolphins off his friend's boat. Fitzy, what was your favorite thing about Dan Marino by MJ Lenderman?
MJ Lenderman lyrics. Dan Marino. My favorite part was when his daddy saw Dan Marino at a Harris Teeter in South Carolina down by the shore.
That was my favorite part too. Honestly.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I wrote. So
I recommend it to all of the listeners. Keep listening to it. Corby, Colin, go ahead and take this one here.
Corby, can you take the? Oh shit!
Fuck.
I owe Corby $5 because Zach Ass had 0.5 points. Yeah, give that one a thumbs up. And Corby says, greatest nickname of all time.
It
I like
is
how it's
so
not
high up.
Ass Moss, it's Zach Ass.
It is so high up there as a great nickname. We're going to get into a couple really good ones that we may see a team name inspired by when we get into that section. AOC available for trade, and he will continue to be available somewhere.
Yeah, once you cut him, he'll be available to pick up.
Tyrone Tracy, I agree. And of course, Mike just had to clarify something, not going for back-to-back this year, but rather back-to-back-to-back. And Mike says, wait, are we talking dynasty? Dang, you really do ride with the Chiefs. See?
Adam says, I only drafted the whole Chiefs team because I wanted one team loaded with the Chiefs. And I thought this would be the most fun league to do it. I should not have. With 2 smiley faces. I'm surprised the second one is a smiley face.
It's the double smiley face that earns this one a like from me.
Right.
He's showing the positivity despite some team names we've seen this year from Adam. I like, keep your chin up there.
I was getting this is fine vibes from it, but you're probably right.
This is fine. It's still better than, he could be throwing out pussy ass bitch stuff, that I believe that was the team name, right? So also really love this one. Adam Googled shrug or something like that, LOL, for his shrugging man team picture. So even less effort than I thought.
Oh, here we go. This one's made for me, huh? Zach's top 6 tight end is great. Colin is smoking that A-Rod ayahuasca. Did I say? Okay, honestly, I don't think it's that crazy though. Just because, honestly, after the top, 5 tight ends, they're all I bet the end of the season they're probably 20 points apart. They're all the same kind of, so I don't think it's that crazy. But I mean, yeah, in a vacuum it sounds stupid. I definitely wasn't. I was surprised he was put that in 14, but I think we're still kind of early enough in the season, and tight end is so shitty this year that just one huge game is what is Dallas Goedert above him? I would rather have Zach Ertz. All right, let's go to the next comment.
All right, next comment here. Malik's Chrome Hearts fit was much fresher than any Giants gear. Anything is fresher than Giants gear. 100%.
Damn.
We're all on the chain here. We all agree that
I love a live comment.
Gear is doo-doo.
This week will be Mike's Joker moment when Juju has 14 catches for 35 yards and leads the charge for the good guys. We'll get into it, but
and that is such a Juju stat line. That is barring any sort of zeros, this would be the one. Adam here, I cannot debase my humanity by participating in AI song creation, which I respect. Asked him to make his own, and Adam says it'll be done by Christmas. We're looking forward to Adam's song. This is, of course, in
Adam's song.
What?
Adam's song.
Adam's song, yeah. This, of course, in response to, admittedly, what was a bit of a bait secret question of the week. I asked people to go and make an AI song, just like our outro last week. Not expecting people to go and do it, but waiting to see what kind of drama it would stir up. And I cannot get this comment out of my head, Adam. Debasing my humanity by participating in AI song creation is a funny line. I'm glad that you put this one out on the internet. Some AI is going to learn from this and become much, much better in conversation, thanks to you. So thank you for your contribution.
Chris Colby, he's here. Let's see what his first comment says. He says, "Let's go, cousin Mike. Welcome." He's hyped for the first guest of this year. He's trying to butter us up to get on the show. Don't worry, you'll be here.
Oh, yeah. And Chris also wanted to let us know. He wanted to pop in and say his points differential is 255 points in the negative through 6 weeks. Does anyone know the worst differential at the end of the season and what that's been? I'd like to know if I'm on pace to set a record or not. So we're going to pause the mailbag real quick because, of course, Colin commented this before Colin's charts. Was hoping for more insight, didn't get any. He's going to be getting insight on exactly this question right now.
Oh my God.
Here on the screen, we have every team, every year of this league, and in blue is Chris Colby through 7 weeks.
What is the bottom?
Yeah, so let's make some call outs here real quick. First of all, in week 4, Chris, yes, you had set a record as through 4 weeks, the single worst point differential in our league's history. Now, despite losing 2 more, you actually caught back up and became only second worst and have vaulted your way up to, I believe now, third worst in league history after a good week last week. So let's see who else is there on the bottom. Well, to try to make you feel a little bit better here, let's start off with the orange here. This is myself in 2022. Of course, the terrible 0-8 start that I had before turning it around. So you were in a better spot than I was before nearly making the playoffs. You still have a shot here, Chris. Now, on the flip side, you can't reach the bottom unless you start off this badly through 7 weeks. You're not quite on his pace, but you're close to the infamous Steven 2013 one-and-done team, where he went 1-13 and had one little upward blip when he faced me. Steven still has only ever beaten me in this fantasy league. We've also got the Mike Sr. quit on his team league, where things were looking, not great, but all-time worst when he stopped sitting his lineup for a few weeks here. And one thing that I just thought was cool, in terms of finishing the year, a third and fourth worst of all time, Taylor, 6 years apart, 2014, and I think an even worse 2020 team, despite it being higher on the list. Colin, do you remember this? This was the team that really solidified in everyone's mind. Like, the vultures are circling after the draft, never going to draft 2 quarterbacks. Something's wrong with this team, right?
I don't remember, but I'm sure that I traded with him, maybe.
Yeah. On the flip side, let's talk about some good teams. So up at the top here, we've got Corby's not infamous, but very famous 2014 championship winner there.
Oh, that's the one that was Odell, right? That was the
yeah. Colin, you've got your 2013 and 2022, so showing a little longevity here with 10 years apart. And then one of the most dominant teams of all time, Chris P. 2019. I think this was his second championship, if I'm not mistaken. So I only put these ones on here because I was interested in who was at the top. Chris, if you end up top 20 all time, this will be a legendary team. I'm rooting on your comeback.
Let me say.
It's a long way to climb. It's a long way to climb, but I'm rooting for you.
Great chart, Fitzy.
A quick delve into Fitzy's facts before we continue on with the mailbag. Oh, and changing the mood immediately. I, too, miss Joe Flacco already. So does Josh Downs, and we'll certainly get into that later.
Everyone on that offense does. Trey Sermon, Michael Pittman.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, just that he is looking ahead to the losers bracket. Again, I think you can set your sights here a little higher. Now, granted, he commented this before getting a win. He was a heavy underdog this week. He pulled it out. This has got to instill some hope. You get the same record as the New York Jets. You might go to the Super Bowl. Bring back boomers. BBB. Oh, Chris, if only you knew what we had in store for you today. Is someone going to have to pick Danger Boy in the suicide pool? Who has the guts? We'll talk about it. Someone's going to have to do it eventually. Also, another lover here. Colin, it's for you.
Mark Andrews is on the up. He's had 2 great weeks. Of course he has. Of course he has. He ran 16 routes last night.
No, really?
Got four targets, 4 catches, 40 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
They're saving him. For what? I'm not sure. I love that my rivalry with that big bitch Corby is back. We're putting it on ice for a week, but you just stirred the pot, Chris.
Says, let's go, cousin Mike.
Absolutely.
He went.
Yeah, a bit of poetry here, starting off with, let's go, cousin Mike, welcome, and closing it with, let's go, cousin Mike.
Oh, I love it.
Can't wait for the sweet justice of Mark Andrews edging out Ertz as the tight end 14. There's a little bit more justice to go around on the Ravens. And Colin, I know you're going to want to talk about that one later.
Love a good king of the hill bet. Yeah. Sadly, we'll get into it, but this would have been a great week for the Taysom side.
And this one right here, actually, like, Chris, this one irked me a little bit. I'm usually on your side. I read this one. We were about to watch some Red Zone. You've got the Chris Hansen avatar, and you say 7 hours of uninterrupted football? Uninterrupted? Scott's never said that. If you were a true Scott Hansen
What does
fan,
he
you'd
say?
know. 7 hours of commercial-free football. Start now. And then later on, during the 4 o'clocks, of course, 7 hours of commercial-free football. Roll on. So
maybe Scott Hansen came over to watch football with Chris.
that's fair. Maybe it's a new line. Mike says, think that 6-0 on the pick'ems. I'm going to like this one here. Colin, did you tabulate Mike's?
Oh, fuck.
All right,
yeah,
I'll read the next one while you go into the show notes. Also, you don't need to go over mine and Adam's matchup. Nobody wants to see that. I cannot wait to get into it.
He did go 6-0, I guess, but we can get into it. But yeah, good for him, because actually this week was a huge trap week. Fitzy, we'll get into it. Yeah, we'll get into it. But that is actually kind of amazing. Well done, everybody. Oh, I wish I had the Family Guy themes. We're sorely lacking in the sound effects.
We missed Corby. We'll hit it in post.
That's
Play
right,
it, boys.
All right, let's move on to week 6.
All right, it's time for week 6. And we had a comment begging for this. And we're back. The Bourbons are back, baby. We start off in the battle of bitter rivals, and it could not have come at a better time as the polls open up and elections loom. Alvin Kamara Harris was dodging questions and points after turning 13 touches into only 24 yards. Sleepy Justin Fields dropped out of the race late, teeing up Kamara's running mate, Russell Wilson, to rack up electoral points. Tucker Carlson Kraft regretted some of his rhetoric as one of his own was stricken from the voter rolls and Jordan Whittington got disenfranchised. On Eric's side, Los Angeles may be a failing city, but the defense budget sure came through. Jaden Reed Vance said, actually, it's just JD now, as he narrowly avoided the donut shop for 3 points. Another dropout joke hit the matchup as let's go Brandon Ayuk is done for the season, and it came down to the battle of RB2s in the separation of church and state, as Trey Sermon owned the Antonio Libson. After Colin had clearly won, Derrick Henry attempted election interference on a Monday night, but Colin got Ertz back and made his flex great again. Colin wins in the swing states and gets the dub, 127-125. We had Corby and Taylor in a high-scoring family trip to Corby's Great American Zoo. That's right, Jalen Swaddle was inconsolable, no matter what Ramondre Stevenson tried. Luckily, he has 2, as Imam Ra St. Brown knew just what to do, applying the diaper Rashad White. With the crying subsided, they entered Corby's petting zoo. There were sick horses running all over the place as Malik the mare, Neighbors, Flowers, and Deontay Johnson all got turned into glue and combined for less than 15 total points. The star attraction, Bucky the Beaver Irving, didn't disappoint, and even Joe the Groundhog left his burrow and predicted 8 more weeks of Corby victories. The mean alpaca, Kyle Spitz, made the crying start back up, and the chaos ensued as Tyler was running around like a toddler holding a sharp object on Monday night. Unfortunately for Taylor, it was closing time as the Michael Will sun set, and he had to pick it up and head back to 12th place. Corby, 159. Taylor, 154. You already know the theme here as we flush our way into the toilet bowl of the year between Adam and Mike. That's right, Mike's stank smell outscored Poo Poo Piss Pooster 0.6-0, but things go much deeper than that. Adam's leader, Patrick Mahomes, the turd, got flushed by the rest of his team, sporting no other offensive players getting out of single digits. That's right, Splat Stafford, Jackson Smith and Jigbutt, Travis Smelty, Tony Poulard, and DeAndre Plopkins sent Adam straight into the sewer. Speaking of sewer, over on Mike's side, he went a little off-grid with the septic tank Dell. The New York Jets were opening the poop chute at cruising altitude and spreading a fetid -3 points all over the rest of Mike's team. Players like P. Pooh Samuel, Piss Godwin, Dalton Schitz, and I asked for Alex's help with this one, and P. Don't Win, all put up stinkers. The day was saved by the two janitors, Saquon Shartley and Brees the Greasy Stall, combining for 50 as Adam gets clogged. Mike, 99, Adam, 72. And you knew we needed a spookiest matchup of the week. It's a spooky bowl as Chris Colby attempts a jump scare over the heavily favored Chris Patnode. For Mr. Colby, things didn't get off to a great start between Spencer Bone Rattler and Tyreek Kill. Jacoby Michael Myers is finally dead. Or is he? We'll have to find out in the sequel because this week he was out of theaters and had his spot possessed by Pazuzu Atwell. On the other side, Chris P. was getting Jamar chased through the woods, but lucky for him, Austin Killer wasn't very effective. Things got especially scary when Jaden Daniels got killed off in the first act, and Chris found himself both frightened and aroused in the DeMario dungeon, surrounded by Devon 8 Chains. Even with the low score, Chris P. won safe and sound, 86-49. Until Monday night! Rashad Norman Bateswell went psycho, and Mark the Wolfman Andrews was a total beast. Patnode's Trey McBride of Frankenstein was not enough to keep up with Blade Otten. And not strictly a horror film, but I'll count it. Sean Tucker Must Die. Chris Colby wears Patnode's face as a mask, 131-106. And in Tyler versus Chris Cloud, these boys were doing everything in their power to get canceled. Chris Cloud and the Stroud boys were praying away that the Purdy South would rise again. David Montgomery, Alabama was burned to the ground by infamous fantasy football terrorist General Robert E. T. Higgins. On the other side, Justin Jefferson Davis sacked the general and appointed Mike Gasico as head of artillery, leading to a sure loss for the South. As Reconstruction began, David Duke Njoku went off on the woke Bengals defense, but it wasn't enough, as the Christian Kirk Klux Klan put up 3 against Tyler's quarterbacks, Justin Her Birth of a Nation, and number 2 overall player so far this year, Baker K. Field. Tyler, 176, Chris, 136. Okay, so I just did all that. Now it's Colin's turn.
It was a... No, I'm just joking. This was a crazy game. Okay, let's talk about me and Eric real quick. It looked like a big loss at several times for me. I don't know what was going on. There was a Jordan Whittington thing. Trey Sermon was so bad. Everyone was so bad. And then Sunday night came, and Russell Wilson and George Pickens rescued me from purgatory. And I forget who played on. I'm sure someone was up there for Sunday night for Eric, but Devontae, and was it just Devontae? Maybe just Devontae. And they did very bad, and I was like, I could win this. So it came into Monday night. I was down. I think he was down. Pretty much he had 100. I had 127 basically, or 128 if you round. So as long as Derrick Henry didn't get that, it was good. And he was doing really bad when we left Buffalo Wild Wings on Monday, Fitzy. He was doing really bad. And then all of a sudden, he got like an 80-yard run. He got like two 40-yard runs. He caught a touchdown. He finished the game. Is he the number 1 player right now?
He's not. He might be the number 1 non-quarterback. Lamar's number 1 and Baker's number 2.
Of course. Yeah, he's got to be number 3, like, or something. Or unless there's another quarterback I'm forgetting. But he's been insane, dude. That's got to be. Yeah. We should have all saw it coming. Great pick, Eric. Luckily, I'm only saying all this nice stuff because I won. So luckily, with my shitty score that I don't deserve to win, I won. So I'm happy. And we'll see in the rest of these matchups. A lot of 2 tight end flexes going on.
So many 2 tight end.
I love it.
What?
I love it.
Yeah. Now, apologies. I've lost a little bit of voice here. My two real notes here, though. Eric almost gets away with the defensive win in a close matchup like this, having a 9-point differential in defense. That's another theme I saw this week. You talk about the 2-tight-end flex. The defensive plays this week really were huge. Like the swings that we had because of them are actually very impactful. To me, this is kind of having a 0 from Jordan Whittington. Actually, like that feels like a worse, like you could have expected more from him type of outcome than Trey Sermon getting 5.9. When you say like, oh, he did bad. No, 5.9 is good for him. Yeah, and you won because of it. You won by less than the difference between Trey Sermon and Antonio Gibson, So
yeah, it was a battle of the RB2s.
Yeah, another close one here for Colin. I don't know what your point differential looks like now here. You're still squeaking by with a pretty decent one.
Yeah, and just to go over, Corby picked Eric and Fitzy picked Eric. The coin picked Eric for lock of the week, but me and Mike had me on my side. So shout out to Mike.
Shout out to Mike and shout out Corby for getting the closest victory of the week. And I'm just gonna say it. The single most impactful thing that happened in this game, forget about Lamar's 34. Corby outscoring Taylor's defense by 22 and winning by 5 is everything in this matchup. Spencer Rattler, I should say, throwing the ball to Denver and getting sacked 6 times and getting 2 fumble. Like, Denver defense is the MVP for Corby this week. I don't think it's close.
They've actually been really awesome. I think they might be the number 1 defense in points right now. They have been a really good year. They have a lot of double-digit games. So good for Corby. This is obviously tragic for Taylor, who, I mean, he's 1-6. He really needed a win. So this is sad for him. I like the trifecta of Dortch, Michael Wilson, and Kyler Murray. Almost worked out, Taylor, but it didn't, and that's
you think you're gonna get a stack until like half of Kyler Murray's points, and I'm not kidding, half of them came on one play where he ran for 44 yards and a touchdown. That's more than half of his points. I was doing this mental math in my head, like, why is that more impactful than like a 100-yard touchdown throw by a decent, like, what? Yeah. Anyway, good for them. Nearly pull it out, but Corby, Kyle Pitts coming up with catches in a close game. That's my other key to this matchup, right? Like, you can expect Lamar to go off sometime. You can expect Kyron Williams to put up 20. Kyle Pitts getting 13.5, not a given. So good stuff.
Except we got Tyler and Chris Cloud. This one actually, I think everyone picked Chris Cloud. Let me check real quick. Oh, except me and Mike, I guess. And the coin. Okay, well, by everyone, I mean you and Fitzy. You and Corby. But I mean, you guys this is what I mean when this is a trap week. Like, this is, I mean, it wasn't like this was a landslide. You can see the projections. Tyler was only slightly slightly projected to lose only by a bit. I think the big thing in this one was for me, not include in terms of like what won one person this week or not. I mean, it was a battle of the B. Robinsons, right? And finally, Bijan gets the edge. He had a great game. He looked awesome. Brian Robinson had a good game too. And Tyler continues to win despite starting Mike Gesicki with a smooth 1.2.
Okay.
And one just real quick, we'll go on the Mike Gesicki tangent. It could be tough days for Tyler in the weeks ahead. He's going to need it. I'll help him get now that he's 3-4. He's going to need wins. Mike Evans might be out for a while, so that'll be tough. Go ahead. What do you got to say about Mike Gesicki?
No. So I looked back at Tyler's. 7 weeks have gone by. 7 weeks have passed for Tyler. His highest scoring tight end this year was Luke Schoonmaker in week 2 when he got 10.3. Tyler's tight end has averaged 3.8 points this year. That basically just a free square on the board.
Incredible.
I feel like we were joking about it, like nothing, like death taxes and Tyler's tight end scoring less than 2 points, but it keeps happening. Like, ever since I picked up the guy who dropped, Evan Ingram, I don't feel like I need to look anymore. I've got Sam Laporte. Is there no one better on the waiver wire? And this is an honest question. I really don't know, but I feel like Mike Gesicki getting this many points again, it's time to make a change.
Well, there's a reason, Pete, there's so many teams flexing 2 tight ends. Like, so it's tough pickings on the waiver wire. But yeah, I mean, I feel like even just streaming, you should be able to do better than 3.3 or whatever you said. So that's rough.
My other note here was basically just Josh Downs goes from like 15 to 25 point per game player with Joe Flacco. and becomes 1.63. I like anytime you end it with an odd number, it's a surefire sign. 0.33 of Josh Downs' points, I think, were return yards. So like it's actually a pretty sizable chunk, like a quarter of his points were just return yards for Josh Downs. It's a really sad scene in Indianapolis. Can't believe they won that game. All right, and you might have noticed this was the only matchup I did not do a Berman for. So sorry, Brandy. I don't pun my own matchups very well. I tried to make this one the spookiest matchup of the week because I really liked the idea of the Babadook means was going to be fun. Instead, I've just got a theme for you. I call this the Battle of the Sons. On my side, Anthony Richards' son, Marvin Harris' son, and Jameson Williams combined for 14, while your Colby Parkinson, Tyler Good's son, and Jordan May's son put up 25. And that 9-point swing is the difference in the matchup. Also, your defense outscored mine by 10. And okay, so that was actually the difference in the matchup. Also, your tight end outscored by mine by 10. And that might have been the difference in the matchup. Ooh, you know what? One more. Also, our trade came into play where Jordan Mason gave you 9 points and Sam Laporta gave me 0. And really, that was the difference in our matchup. So you can slice this one any number of ways, and the answer comes up the same. It's a relatively close game. Yahoo had it 51-49 for percentages going into Monday night. And Brand, you beat me on the margins in every way. I give you credit. I wish you well this week. Getting from down bad to, hey, up pretty good.
When that trade was made, the Laporta for Mason, I was like, oh my God, like Fitzy is swindling with this one. Like, not just because I didn't think Christian McCaffrey was going to come sooner. I just like, oh, Sam Laporta, he was so good last year, and like, Mason's just, he's not like a jag. He looks good, but he's like look at this. Like you're not even starting him. It's crazy to me. Like it's just that's and then I was like, why would Brandy trade Laporta over Bowers? Like that's stupid. Bowers is amazing. He's
Bowers
incredible.
is awesome. Yeah,
yeah.
I would currently trade like a wide receiver one.
Oh, absolutely. He's on pace for over 100 catches. I think he's
just so consistent too.
It's insane, dude.
Has he even gotten touchdowns yet? Does he have one?
So
unbelievable.
He just
unlimited.
It's a PPR god, and that's just like amazing. So yeah, I know he must be very popular in the Corbett household because I know Corby loves Brock Bowers too. So good pick. Brandy, that's a good call because I don't think most people would have done that. That's bold, and that's what I love in fantasy is boldness.
Yeah. But again, this is, if I'm counting correctly, matchup number 2 where defense has swung it this week. And as the number 1 proponent of wanting defense and kicker in our league, I'm not going to be the one to complain when it doesn't go my way. I'm actually happy that this happened. It does slide me. I'm 1 for my last, 1-4 in my last 5. Not a good. Maybe my team should be named down bad or down worse. We're definitely going to be changing things up because Deshaun Watson's off the team. So we'll see what happens here.
That's too bad because it's season.
I know. I didn't change it to the pod on purpose. I put the time into Berman's instead. So.
All right, another 2 tight end flex, by the way. Flexing that Colby. And here we go. The dual 2 tight end flex. The tight end flex versus tight end flex. You'll love to see it. Yeah, this was a crazy game. Chris comes in here 5-1, a bit of a false 5-1 since his, no offense to Chris, but his points for is not it's not up to snuff, and this week certainly didn't help it. It was a tough one, Jaden Daniels goes down super early after like a 50-yard run, so this is, it's a 107, but like you didn't, that, and it's tough. But Chris, with like you mentioned. The Monday night shit with Rashad Bateman and Mark Andrews. Crazy, dude. And I didn't realize someone picked up Tutu Atwell, so great start there. He was, I think, probably their leading receiver. So awesome job by Chris Colby in a game he needed to win. I don't like this, 2-5 is bad. And it's very hard. It would be very hard to dig yourself out, but Tua's might be back this week, right? Week 8. So Hill is going to be startable again. McCaffrey's going to be back in like a week or 2, we'll see. I guess 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know. Your team is on the up, dude. It is. Hopefully Derek Carr comes back. I said Derek. So I think don't be too pessimistic. All right, I like it. I like what you got going on.
I think I like it as like it could be a coin flip every week, but you need better than a coin flip to come back from 2-5. You can get lucky. We've seen it before, and I don't think anyone could find the power to harness this luck much better than cousin Chris here. I feel like Chris is the type of fantasy manager who, even at 2-5, like he can talk about driving his car off the hill and talk about giving up, but he's not actually giving up. Like he's still making the moves. Fab or no, he's going to be in it till the bitter end. He's a Yahoo point gamer. We like that on the pod. Oh boy. Oh no. Mike gets a win. And we saved the best for last, I think, even though I say oh no. Mike gets the win with less than 100 points. This week across the board, not just like this matchup, it was a week of landmines. A bunch of guys randomly getting between 0 and 1 points. There just happens to be an especially strong concentration of these guys here, with Mike, Steve-O Samuel apparently going to the hospital, but still being in the starting lineup. Cortland Sutton, when his team gets 33 points, you expect him to be at least one of those touchdowns. Nothing. And I am going to remember this for the rest of my life. I'm never going to be able to think about Tank Dell and not hear Stank Smell in my head. Mike has coined a new nickname for a player that I think is now entered the league's lore.
Yeah, he's and right across from him. I'm not literally, but right on the other lineup is Poo Poo Shit Booster. So he's in good company. This is tough for both sides. I mean, Adam, it's not even the Chiefs' bye week. It's just a bad time. It's a bad time for everybody. If I was Mike, I mean, and maybe he does, maybe he doesn't, but like, just because I'm a little pussy ass bitch, like I would just feel like a huge asshole if I won this. I'd be like, wow, like look at Fitzy who put up like 147 or whatever, or 137 or whatever, like a decent score, and I'd be like, oh my god, like what a fucking fake. But good for you. You got Barkley and Hall right when you needed them back. I feel like they've been, or at least Barkley had one bad week at some point, but they've been slumping. I think Hall was good. Was he good last week, or was this his comeback week?
Yeah, he's been good for a couple of weeks, I believe.
All right, they slump in, that they're back, and so will your team be when the coin flips. Like it's like these are good players. Although Godwin is going to be extended, so we'll see. Adam, yes, this is your life now.
Yeah. Adam, my note for Adam is the great pick with Cincinnati defense. They scored 21% of your points. And they didn't even score 20 points, right? So that's a tough one. It's a tough one. The best thing you can do with this week, Adam, is realize that you found your floor. You got just about as many points as I did in my bye week, right? Where I sat a bunch of guys. You hit a couple landmines. That's really all it is. You hit some landmines and nobody went off for more than 8 points. So that's tough. At least you've got DeAndre Plopkins. That was my favorite nickname that I gave a player on Adam's team.
I forgot to do a lot of these, the pick'ems. I feel like we don't always do them, but this week it was just kind of crazy how many like in your matchup, Fitzy, everyone picked you except Mike, who picked Brandy, and like in the Chris Colby one, everyone picked Chris P to win except Mike. Even the coin, I'm including, and in this one, everyone picked Mike to win. And he did. So this is the one that pulled through. And speaking of this week,
so let's talk about it, because last week we had some weird weeks. Me and Corby were 2-4. Mike, living on islands, doesn't sink. 6-0. I don't know if you had anything else here you wanted to talk through, Colin, before I talk about suicide.
No, give me the news on the suicide pool.
Okay, so here's the news on the suicide pool. Every week, I need to remember to text Chris Cloud, Eric, and Taylor to send me their pick. And this week I forgot, and so did all of them. So suicide.
So here's the chart from last week.
It's been suspended for 1 week. We're back on the horn in week 8. So that's just a fun one for us. Everyone gets a little bye week every now and then.
I respect that.
A quick check of the standings here, and yeah, my theory about I don't need Jordan Mason because I'm 2-0. I'm in a good spot to make the. It's bounce backable, but 3-4 and being the lowest of the 3-4 doesn't feel good for myself. At least we do have it's not too far spread out. I think there's only one team maybe who I'd be hitting the panic button on completely. Chris, you could be hitting the panic button. Eric, still a game away from 500.
All right, that's it for the recap for this past week. Let's check out everyone's favorite name, everyone's favorite segment. I gave it away there, huh? It's the name changes. Let's see what we got going on here. Fitzy, why don't you guide me on this journey?
That's right. So we start off with down bad, which, again, only in hindsight can we say maybe not so bad being third place right now. That said, making this their team name after losing Rahid Shahid for the year, that's a pretty down bad moment. So Brandy, I appreciate anytime you can reuse an older image in your team picture. I do it just about every off season. Right before the draft, I'll go in and I'll just pick some old picture I used to use. I do it in basketball. I'm the punter. Every year I punt something and I just take the same picture of a punter. So reminiscent of good times here, Brandy, with the clown emoji from the old "Don't Look at Me" team name.
Yeah, I was gonna ask because I saw like in the chat, Brandy says like was said something or someone said something, and I didn't know what the the impetus was or whatever. It was Rahid Shahid going on IR
If I were Brandy, that would be the reason I would use for making this team name.
Yeah, it's too bad. He's a great fun player, a great player.
We're going to be foregoing the boom meter because we don't have the meter with us. So, I'm just going to say respect and more respect here for only Chris Colby can make a team picture that looks quite like this. As he's got Derek Carr driving my car off the hill.
Let's see.
If you zoom in far enough, it's an SUV jumping off of, you can barely see what would have been a hill right here. Almost all of it is covered up by Tyreek Hill's hair. And he's jumping, of course, off of Tyreek Hill.
He did it. It's a great one. Good job, Chris. He drove the car off the hill. So is this like he's down, or is it just does this reflect any attitude he has, or is it just a pun? You know what I mean?
I think it's a little bit of both. When you're 2-5, you're feeling pretty down. You got to switch things up however you can. To me, these are two players that are going to be bouncing back for him, though, right?
Right.
Derek Carr, if anything, replace this SUV with a rocket ship, my friend, and bring Tyreek Hill along with him.
Rocket ship. Wait a minute.
Be going places like, dare I say, close to 500 for the year. Let's
that's what I'm saying. He just got this much needed win. I thought he'd have like an optimistic team name, but I get it. It's tough. And if you get the pun, you got to use it. So go ahead. Respect. I give it 4 respects out of 5.
The Colin's respect meter.
Respect. No, all right. All right. What do you think?
I said this before, and I said I wasn't going to give a boom meter, but when you submit new lore for the league, like Poo Poo Piss Pooster is what I think of when I see Juju Smith-Schuster. Stank Smell will forever be what I think when I see Tank Dell's name. And the team picture, him screaming, but there's something about the eyes. He's just going, ah, he doesn't look like he's really into it in the eye. His hair's all over the place. This is a 6 out of 10. Sorry, 6 out of 5. 6 out of 5 on the boom meter.
Whoa.
Yeah, my bad. 6 out of 5 on the boom meter here for Stank Smell. I'm the biggest fan of this team name.
Well done, Michael. So what do you think he did here? Do you think he Googled just Tank Dell and just scrolled until he saw one that was appropriate, or do you think he looked up Tank Dell like sad or angry, or what do you think happened?
I'm sure he just Google image searched Tank Dell and scrolled not too far. I feel like this wouldn't be too far down. Let's try a live experiment.
I just feel like whenever I Google players, it's just their different profile pictures from them in college, and they're wearing their shirts.
You're right. I don't see it here yet. Let's try Tank Dell.
Maybe he was using Bing.
Tank Dell yelling.
Tank Dell yell. Oh, that's it. Good job.
And you know what? If you look back, like, yeah, this is kind of far zoomed out. Mutt doesn't have the highest res image going here. This is 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10. Maybe my favorite team picture name combo this year.
Oh, nice.
All right, let's keep the browser open here because, Colin, it's your favorite segment, transactions.
Oh, it's the transaction watch. So let's go. I didn't realize that was the last name. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, let's just. I mean, there's not much to look at here, but let's just look real quick because who doesn't love to talk about eyes? Can you say it, Fitzy? Sick. What?
Okay, real quick, maybe off the record here, Colin. What was the word you said last night that made me?
Jargon.
All right, so I'll say this:
talk about the jargon.
Jargon.
I was really self-conscious about fucking up ayahuasca. I was like, oh no, I'm not gonna be able to say it.
I'm sorry, Colin. I can edit out the part about
no, absolutely not.
Isaac Garendo, $31 to Brandy, and you know what? I'm with you. I'm a Jordan Mason owner in a couple leagues, and I was pretty convinced he was going to be out this week. I don't know if 31 would be like if you think Jordan Mason is out until Christian McCaffrey comes back, is kind of how I would value that. But yeah, 11 for Garendo, I would have been happy with. 31, Brandy, I hope you're happy with.
Yes, Isaac, as Fitzy calls him, Isaac, no middle name, Garendo.
Yeah, you look it up. He doesn't have one, and he's one of only 12 people in the U.S. with the last name Garendo.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I want to say that his dad is from the Central African Republic, and like people see his name and assume it's like Latino. Not true.
Wow.
It's Central African Republic. So I guess doesn't have a middle name.
Awesome. Well, speaking of the etymology of players, Bub Means for $20 to also Brandy. I like this theme of like one player. One like owner like just blowing. I mean, this is only $51, but just like one player blowing a shit ton of fab on like several. Just like 1 week is like fuck this, I'm gonna go like all in on this. Yeah. So yeah, Brandy gets Bub Means for 20, and here's Adam for 3. Adam loves to be in the screenshot. And Bub Means he had a good week. It's like this thing where like when backup quarterbacks come in, I think like that they practice with like the backup receivers, so they have this connection. That like I feel like this is just really often a thing. So he did really good that 1 week, and then he did he had like 6 points last week. But I don't think anyone did very good on the Saints, huh?
Yep. Staying in the screenshot here, Adam is the second highest bid with $0 on Russell Wilson. Colin, I think this is an awesome deal for you. I can't believe nobody else put money on it.
I am extremely surprised, and like this is like a huge. I wouldn't have a quarterback right now, and I wouldn't have won last night.
Right.
So this is huge for me. This is so the best $10 I've ever spent. Yeah.
It makes the most sense for you. Like I thought about picking him up, but at the time I had 4 quarterbacks in my roster. Didn't really have the space. Like like I thought for sure someone else was going to go higher than 10. That's incredible.
Yeah. I guess because Fields was doing like well, maybe people are just like, oh, he'll probably suck tonight against the Jets, and then they'll put Fields in or something. And I get that. That's why I still have Fields on my team.
Yep.
And then that's a really shitty situation now. I have to use 2 roster spots for 1 quarterback. It sucks. Here's Brandy getting Washington, okay, and Adam goes in front trying to get Washington too. Adam. You already know Fitzy. Adam just doesn't win. He just never has good waiver priority.
We need to launch an investigation into this, because I swear Adam is 0 for 28 lifetime in tied waiver claims. Like there's got to be some setting in the background where Cash just like automatically put him number 12 no matter what. I don't understand how one manager can always be at the bottom of this screenshot with 0 as the winning offer.
You love to see it. And here's one that came 3 days after the original waivers cleared, so someone must have dropped them to pick something up. And here's Buffalo for $2 for Chris Cloud. How'd they do? They are 11, is that right?
Yep.
From what you just pulled up? Yeah, so that's fine, I guess. And they have a good schedule for the next few weeks. Although actually, well, I mean, Miami's only good because they haven't had Tua, so we'll see. And that is Transaction Watch. Good job with the transaction. Oh, wait. Was this
I
not
don't
last
think we talked
episode?
about this. I don't know.
No,
if
we did. Because remember
We
Corby
did?
was like,
Okay.
yeah, Corby.
Edit this part out. But that's it for Transaction Watch.
That's it for Transaction Watch. Let's look ahead to Week 8. First up here, we got Taylor against Brandy. This is a must win game for Taylor. I feel like 1-6. What were you, Fitzy, when you started your legendary comeback a couple years
I want
ago?
to say I was like, I thought I was 0-8.
Were you really?
I might have been 0-7. I could look that one up.
All right. Well,
got it open.
Well, not everyone is Fitzy, so I don't know if you can do 1-7, Taylor. But 2-6, I'd be sweating, but you can do it. I don't think you can do it by continuing to start these three Cardinals, but I'm just assuming you haven't set your lineup. It's a solid team. With I think one of the things I don't want to see being overlooked, but I'm surprised Rashad White is this low when we know that Godwin and Evans probably aren't going to play. They're going to have to throw to somebody. I think, Hayden will probably go up, but also Rashad White, she got a lot of dump off, so I think he's going to do good this week. That being said, I'll take Taylor. That being said, I'll take Taylor. That's what the projections are saying, and I get it because Brandy's having a tough week here. Is it buys? Is that what's happening with Brandy's team? I'm a little undereducated here.
I'll pull that one up live because I'm curious myself.
Oh, there's no buys this week, aren't there? Isn't this a no buy week?
That's right, there's no buys. It's one of these weird ones.
So I guess Brandy's just dealing with a. Oh, he hasn't set her lineup yet.
Jonathan Taylor. Yeah.
So that'll be huge. Taylor over Goodson. That's a 14-point swing. So it'll be about 50-50.
Yep.
That being said, I'm still going to take Taylor. I'm just feeling it. I don't really like, a lot of these. I mean, because Taylor's also got to put Jake Ferguson back, which is huge. Not that Hunter Henry's been very bad. He's got Taysom Hill. No, I'm joking. I'm gonna take Taylor. Bub Means. Dontayvion Wicks had. Did he do good last week, or was it just that one catch? He had 3 for 48 and one cool touchdown. Give me Taylor. I like Taylor's team, honestly. The number 1 ranked team by me and Corby. I'll take that.
Yeah. And I had Brandy, I think, number 1 myself. So a little bit of a battle of the preseason darlings, let's call it. I don't actually like you picked Taylor here. You think it's close. I don't know how close I think this is. I think Brandy's going to really put the stomp down here. I agree. Wow. Taylor's got to be in panic mode. The answer column, by the way, yes, I was 0-8, including that 8th loss being the one where I put up 191 points against Adams 200 burger. That was like the most heartbreaking thing.
And you finished what, 5-8?
Yeah.
Or 5-9.
I lost the last one, so 4-9.
I don't remember how many there are.
Not even that good, but the fact that it's in your head as legendary, Taylor, it takes some chutzpah to really make some lore in this league happen. You could make it happen at 1-6. You could be the first 1-6 team member to ever make the playoffs. That said, I'm not going to bet on that. I do need one quick peek here. Sorry to keep going live, but compare managers because Taylor's on the rise. I just wanted to get this chart up here live. We're alert. Silver Watch is back on. He's up 5 week over week. What's crazy about this year to me is he started off at 567. He's gone up 2 points. He's won 36% of his matchups this year, Colin.
So
That's
I guess
how generous Yahoo is. They want him so badly to make silver. He just has to win like half of his matchups, and he'll be there in 3 weeks. So based on those bad vibes alone, yeah, Brandy by 1 million.
It is my pleasure for the first time this season, and hopefully not only, to introduce the coin.
The coin is with you. The coin wants that Taylor pick. Kind of bringing him up to 2 and 6. Ugh. Okay, next one up here. And real quick. Yes, okay, we fixed it. So, all right, next up. Colin, why don't you take this one away?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, fun one.
This is, speaking of must wins, to me this is a must win for Tyler, who was 2 and 4 before, I think, having the best week, the best game in the league last week. Yeah, so he had a must win game and he won, and now he has to face me, and unfortunately, no Mike Evans. ETN might be back, so that'll be tough for Bigsby. He still got Gesicki. And maybe Tua will come back, and maybe he'll start him over somebody. Keenan's off by, he's got not full, but he's got players. Unfortunately, Cooper Kupp will also hopefully maybe be back. So I think that'll and CeeDee Lamb and Swift off by. I think Russell Wilson is strangely underprojected this week, and even with that, I've still got the projections on my side. Obviously, I'm going to take myself, but I think it's pretty justified this week. I'm really liking how the Russ pick and stack is looking, even though it's only been one game. The Fields pick and stack wasn't really a thing. Yeah. So even though I miss Fields starting him, and I'd rather have him just because it's fun, like you say, Fitzy, you want fun players, even though he's, they didn't really let him cook too much, but that's all right. Yeah, I'm going to take myself. But I haven't made a secret that I like Tyler's team. This is just a tough week for him.
Yeah, here's my lock of the week. It's not picking one of these teams. It's that both of these teams are going to go over their projection. I wish you two weren't playing each other so I could lock you in, both of you. There's almost not a player I don't like on these teams. It's weird that I like fun players but don't like George Pickens for some reason. It's a bit of cognitive dissonance. He's fun to watch play football, but he's the small bit of boomer father in me says that guy doesn't play the right way, right. I think both of these teams are going to hit 150 plus. This is going to be a heck of a matchup. I'm staying away for lock of the week for that reason. Either of you could win this one. The coin's on Tyler, and I am barely leaning toward Tyler. Barely here, Colin. This is not enough. This is going to be a fantastic matchup.
Well, hopefully it'll live up to it, but we'll see. As we learned this week, any given Sunday and Monday.
Any given Sunday and any given Sunday, Monday. We're going to see what happens in this one as Adam continues that fall far from grace and is currently projected with a 36% chance to win against Chris Cloud. Now, of course, Chris has got some funny stuff going on in the projections. If you believe that T. Higgins is going to get 14 points, you haven't played fantasy football. If you are banking on Josh Downs getting about 10, then you are not paying attention to fantasy football. So, I don't actually think 36% is a good number. Patrick Mahomes, easily, the Chiefs could go off for more than this against the Raiders. Huh? Of course, this is going to be closer than the matchup things. But the vibes are all the way off with Adam's team. All the way off. Everyone's going to bounce back this week so that Adam can hit 110. That'd be a good week for Adam after what happened last week. I'm taking my friend, Chris Rob Cloud, to get the dub.
Yeah, absolutely. And, he also has Javante and Olave. I don't know if Olave's going to play. Romeo Dobbs. He's got guys on his bench that he can put in over someone like Downs. So when he does set his lineup, I think it'll be a little, only slightly, I guess, but it'll be a little more generous. So I will be locking in Chris Cloud. That's the sound effect that Corby plays.
A lock of the week here. Sorry, Adam. I want to hear your comment about what you think about Colin locking in Chris Cloud this week.
I have a feeling he'll agree. Although, I don't know. It's tough for that. I think he knows his team is in a rough spot in this league.
All right, fine. I'll introduce my team. Fine. There's only one good thing that happened to my team last week, and it's that I've finally opened my eyes. I will not be sitting Sam Darnold from here on out. I don't know why he's been on my bench all year. I might be 4-3 if he was on my starting lineup every week. I haven't really gone back and run the numbers. I just don't know if Anthony Richardson's going to make the ticket here. Right now, it's because Drake May's facing the Jets. I'm talking about my starting quarterbacks because, my God, like Anthony Richardson. I told you this one last night, Colin. I heard someone on Red Zone say Anthony Richardson, a great dual threat quarterback, and I'm not usually a talk to the TV type. But I turned to Alex and I was like, he's not a dual threat quarterback. He's a single threat running back. The guy cannot throw. He cannot throw, at least not to the right team. He can throw up a pretty 60-yard rainbow. He's got the arm. I don't know what's going on. Don't know what's going on in Indy. At least I've got Jahmyr Gibbs. He looks awesome. Evan Ingram's going to be like Brock Bowers on stevia, so the diet version, I suppose. Marvin Harrison's way over projected. Like, that's the thing. I look up and down here and I'm like, these guys are not scoring that many points. What are we all thinking here? Colin, I know you hate when I do this because I feel like I listen to this podcast when we're editing every week and I hear you say, but of course I'm going to pick myself. I feel like I could almost say, and of course I'm going to pick against myself. I've locked myself in this year, but it's not this week. It's going to be Chris P. leveling things out and going to 6-2.
Yeah, this is a battle to me of the underachievers because Chris has it's a solid team. A lot of these guys, but a lot of them are just underachieving. Someone like H-Shannon, it's not his fault. Chase has had some bad games. DJ Moore has been tough. A lot of these guys. And then I look at your team and it's like Devontae Smith, who just had like a legendarily bad game. Marvin Harrison, Ladd, he's been up and down. And Anthony Richardson, of course. His game log is just, that first week happened and it was like, oh, this dude is awesome. I thought he put up way more. He only had 26. That's still awesome. Since then, he hasn't had one double-digit game. He's been below 10 every week since. I mean, he missed a couple of weeks, but still. He hasn't thrown a passing touchdown since week 2. It's just, it's only three starts, but it's
still
just...
the vibes are off. The vibes are off. For who I confidently claimed as my guy.
I was right there with you.
Was like a top 5 quarterback this year.
Totally fine.
There's only one thing in 5 in his name, and that's how many points he might score this week. 5 of them.
Yeah, and it's
tough. You
tough.
talked about last week. Yeah, maybe it was a bit of a floor for a couple of guys. Devonta Smith and Jameson Williams both having the 1 catch for negative receiving yards stat line. That's a fun thing to see in your starting lineup, right? Like I said, a lot of landmines last week. I'm not bent out of shape over it. This is more about Chris's team being good and my team being mid. That's really what I think this is.
I mean, I think your team, and this is how I was going to finish. It's like primed for a peaky finder. Like I think this is a team that hasn't hit its peak yet, and it's going to do it right at the right time. But it is tough to look right across from Anthony Richardson, CJ Daniels, who's like who I would be like, oh, he's the poor man's Anthony Richardson at the beginning of the year. Now Anthony Richardson is like, the homeless man's Jaden Daniels. So it's tough. But I'll tell you what, though, speaking of fun players to own, how fun is it to own Brian Thomas Jr.? Because I don't have this guy anywhere, and I never would. But I mean, he's just I guess I didn't realize he had two mediocre weeks, but it's crazy to me that like nobody's even talking about this.
Nobody's talking about him, and he's so much fun on the week to week.
I feel like every time I look, I feel like he has like 6 catches, like he's got a touchdown.
It's stupid how bad the Jaguars are, and how excited I am also when they're on offense because Evan Ingram and Brian Thomas Jr. That's their offense. It's awesome. I own the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's like owning the entirety of Latvia or something. It's just. that's
you too own something. Here you go.
Yeah.
You got a good team though. On paper. But I will be taking Chris. Yeah, taking Chris, not just because you didn't take me. I agree with your points. But I do like your team a lot.
Yeah, and the coin is not going to make it around. We've only had one round this week, a round of cloud. The coin wants me for some reason.
All right, here we go. We got Eric versus Chris Colby. To me, again, I'm gonna say this, but only because like I just feel like it's that time of year. We need to make the playoff push. There's all these teams in the middle, and there's no There's no like we don't have any five. Yeah, we don't have any 6-1 teams. Like, do we even have any 5-2? We must, right?
Yeah,
I think Chris
P, I believe Corby.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, okay. So, but still, every game is must win to me. That's how I feel. There's just too much parity going on. So 2-5, that's obviously a must-win game. You got the momentum on your side. You got to write the shit for Chris Colby. Eric, you just lost the game. You can't let Fitzy down and go 2 games away from 500. This is a must-win game for you too. And I think he will win. Underprojected players here. I think Amari Cooper and Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is going to be underprojected every week. Why 16.55? He should be at least 20 every week. It's ridiculous. That's he is ranked 3, by the way. He's ranked 3.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous to me. What are they doing? God, he's so good, dude. And like everyone should have seen this coming. Having Lamar, I don't think has ever had a running back average below like 5 yards per carry because having him, he's just a threat, and it's just such a match made in heaven. So I'm just jealous. Yeah, picking Eric. He's got a solid team. Love Jaden Reed. I like a lot of his guys were guys I was going after. Again, though, Charbonnet's RB2. He just had a terrible week because Kenneth Walker fucking went off because he's a great player. So that's a tough spot. I think I have a lot of running backs, Eric. Are you in the mood for some sweet justice? I'm taking Eric. What do you think? What do you think, Fitzy?
Yeah, I agree with the factual points you brought up. And as much as Chris, I told you any given week for your team, I really do feel that already. What's kind of funny is Yahoo hasn't changed the projections on either of these teams at all. Not a single player is projected for anything different. But they now think Chris has a 46% chance to win. So something's happening in the background here. Oh, never mind. Oh, sorry. Kate Otten is all the way up to 9.9 points live. So, any given week, I expect it to be close to 50-50 at kickoff. But there's only one thing more powerful than your ability to go 50-50 any week, and it's Eric's need to go 50-50 every week. He's a game under 500. He's going to win 1 or 2 in a row, and it starts right now. It's my lock of the week. It's Eric continuing the trend. Oh my, and the coin is going to make it a full round of Eric. Chris, you're back to not even having the coin believe in you. This is when you're at your most dangerous.
Colby Island has been fully submerged. Global warming has done its damage. It's gone.
All right. And you asked if we had any 5-2 teams before. I omitted Mike because it's the best matchup of the week. Already projected 50-50. The number 1 versus the number 2 team after a number 2 week. It's Mike versus Corby. The fact that we've got so many storylines going into this one. The potential revenge game for Cole Kmet off my team. Beating down Kyle Pitts to Chesty here. Like, there's so many storylines. Everything's exciting. I've only got one question for you, Colin. What are you doing this weekend? Because I think Corby is on a tear. He's in 5 in a row. I think it's not crazy to think he might go undefeated the rest of the way here. Give me Corby to make it 6 wins in a row. Sorry, Mike. Your team's great. You're just hitting a good one this week.
Yeah, I really like both of these teams. Corby really especially. I actually don't know how well I had Mike ranked early in the year, but I know I had Corby really high. The revelation player on Mike's team is Aaron Jones. This dude's awesome, man. Like, I mean, he's always awesome on Green Bay, but it was always like about injuries and like, he never got really a full workload. He's sick, dude. That's the player who I wish I owned on Mike's team. Also, probably half the other players on his team. Now, the irony here is that Bo Nix is going to be going against his biggest fan, Corby, and so I think Corby's going to get a face full of Bo, but I think it won't be enough. I don't know, we got Deontay sitting on Corby's bench. Like, is I don't know what's up with Zay. I know he left last night, so I don't know if he's gonna It's hard to know right now. It's early, but he's got him up. Maybe he'd play him over Juwan Jennings. I don't know. And then Mike's got Debo, who is almost died or something. So without knowing anything, I'm going to take Corby. Mike needs to get right game, but Corby's already right. I think Fitzy's right. I think it's going to be it's pretty smooth sailing for Corby the rest of the way. He's got nice depth. He's got a good team. Mike also has great depth and a good team. So no rod god, no win to me. That's my motto.
All right, that's a good motto. The coin is going against the grain, making a little bit of an island here. Not just picking Mike, but locking him in. Mike, you've got a believer, and that believer is good for one drink at the Sons of Aaron.
And that'll be it for week 8. We'll come back next week and see how it all played out, of course, hopefully. And now it's time for everyone's favorite segment, or our favorite segment at least. It's Bets of the Week.
All right, with only a couple of us here, Colin, I still have a couple of bets ready to go for you. I know you've got one or two from me as well. Do you want to start things off?
Well, let's start off with the bets from last week.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why you're the host. That's why you're the host.
We get the Doug Peterson parlay where Mike brought in this strange bet that the Jaguars would lose, and after which they would fire Doug Peterson, or maybe after the bye. I don't remember what we settled on, but I feel like they had to hit both conditions. Is that right, or was it just Doug Peterson getting fired?
Okay, so
because the parlay.
The parlay was that the Jaguars would lose and that Doug Peterson would then be fired. He would not coach another game for the Jags.
All right.
There's still a chance. I feel like it would be weird for him to go through the bye week and then get fired. I'm going to call this one yet to be resolved.
Okay,
but
fine.
Pretty much he's not fired. And I just want to make it clear, I think in the show notes you might have it flipped. Corby, why don't you put a comment down below, because you believed that he would be fired, right? I remember betting that he would not be fired.
Yeah, I believe it. You're probably right. It's just that's the order it was in on the original doc. So I just thought that was all right. But yeah,
if Corby believes that he said yes, he will be fired.
Yeah, we'll check the tape.
Cool.
And speaking of checking the tape, Fitzy. No, there's nothing there. He took Zach Ertz versus Mark Andrews. Who's going to score more points? I brought this up, huh? I was like, Zach Ertz is going to outscore Mark Andrews. Easy. Mark Andrews had 2 touchdowns, so he outscored Zach Ertz. But Zach Ertz had his first touchdown of the year. He scored 14, a great tight end score. Unfortunately, Mark Andrews put up 20.
I loved last week's Bets of the Week because other than the Doug Peterson parlay and Mike flipping a coin, other than those two, it's all tight end bets. Because the next one here, it's the Battle of the Hills. It's Taysom versus Tyreek. It's a sad one because, Tyreek put up 2.3. Taysom could have won this.
He would have won it. It's tragic, dude. So that's too bad. We'll just render this null and move on. All right. Next up, we got a couple of Corby Colin bets. There are also a couple bets we made last week that were like season long. So these won't show up here, but we'll get back into them. Or actually, we probably will never revisit them, but they'll show up on your screen at the beginning of next year. Corby versus Colin, total tight end scores. So he has Kyle Pitts and Freiermuth, and I have Ertz and Kraft. So Ertz and Kraft both had touchdowns. They had good games. 26.3. Kyle Pitts had a really good game. Freiermuth didn't have he had like 7 points, so that's fine. So I won that one. Shout out to my guys, my tight end flexes. And then we also bet Corby versus Colin, 2 tight end, we play each other in this league, where Corby, I think, was in first place. He still might be. And I was not. I was 2-4. And you know what? I got something to say. Put the Zoom camera on me real quick, all right? Because or the meat camera. The meat camera. That's 2 E's. I saw you roll your eyes, Corby, last week, all right? When I was editing last week, all right? I didn't see this in real time, but when I brought up that my team was 2-4 and I was basically I was 10 points away from being first in points, to me that's a real grievance. And I know you're rolling your eyes right now, all right? But, and I'm glad that I beat you and I kicked your ass and you had a very good week, so I hope you felt the pain of having a great week. I think you were second or third in points, and you lost, so I hope you get it. It hurts a lot, dude. And I'm pretty sure I'm leading the league in points for. All right, this isn't even this league. I'm sorry. I won. I put up almost 200 points. I had a great week. I'm the best team in the league. I have the most points scored. I'm 3-4. I guess that's fine. All right, Fitzy, you got some new bets. Here we go. New bets. Here we go, everybody. What are these? Are these already new bets or?
I wrote down a couple here for you because I wanted to get things started with the writing. I wasn't sure what side you'd take. I can easily delete them, right? The first bet I've got for you that I want to offer up.
All right, here we go.
Corby versus Mike. Couple of stellar defenses. You've got Denver against Carolina. You've got the Jets against New England. I want the over on 10 defense points for both of them. It's the defense over projected parlay.
Yeah,
I think they're going to do it.
Absolutely, I'll take it. Sure. It seems like a slam dunk, but there's just the most random shit happens in football.
Yep.
It's just a weird sport, man. Also, the Jets just looked pretty bad against Pittsburgh, who aren't exactly
-3 against Russell Wilson. It's not how you want to be. Yeah,
famously conservative offense. Although they were kind of airing it out, so good for them. Before we get to your next one, we'll take some turns here. You already know what my bet is that I'm bringing to the table, huh? You know what it is, Fitzy?
I do, and I'm afraid of.
You're not. Stop.
Listen, Colin, you are tailor made to win exactly 5 categories.
I don't think it's only those 5 categories. Because what am I gonna like? Oh, turnovers and. Like it's basically kind of turnovers and steals. Like there's
turnovers and steals.
There's a bunch that you could beat me in. Or is that it? I guess that's it.
I think that's pretty much it. It's not going to be field goal percentage.
You're
not going to win free throw percentage. You're not going to win assists. I'm not going to win points.
Oh, you're going to win. Oh, actually, you're right. That's another one is points. I might 6-3, or you might 6-3.
I'm serious. I would take the over under for your wins at 5.5.
So you don't want to take it. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
We can make a specific category one.
Let's just do steals.
Let's do steals. That one's kind of 50-50.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So we'll thanks everyone for basketball talk.
Oh yeah, I don't think I specified what we're talking.
Yeah, this has been Why Do Boys Play Other Games? Also,
This is for fantasy basketball where me and Fitzy are playing. We drafted our teams last week. Are they playing right now? Anybody?
Oh yeah, I got Derek White going right now, or like in 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. For steals. All right, what do you got, Fitzy?
Oh, I'm already winning 5 categories against you.
Fuck. Who's playing? Is it Celtics or is it?
I think
Lakers,
it is. Or? Yeah, I think it's Derek White. Give me a second.
Damn, come on, Tillman.
Derek White is currently. He has 5 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal. I'm gonna get you.
Fuck. I hate playing from behind.
All right. I said this one when we were breaking down the matchup, and it's now about your matchup, Colin. Whatever the kickoff projection is, like Yahoo saves this for like at the time of kickoff projection for every individual player. I simply think that both you and Tyler will outscore your original projections in next week's screenshot.
Again, absolutely. It makes sense to me, but football's random, so this is basically like a coin flip.
Because you said this last time, I'll take the other side. I will say I'll hedge my bet.
Nope. Let's do it.
I'll either take your $5 or all the credit when I'm right about it next week. I can't lose.
Yeah, give me under. Give me under. I'm sure that because I've had some outrageous luck this year, so I think it's going to turn on me this week, either by Tyler smashing me and me doing awful, or I guess the inverse, which is my luck continues and Taylor has a terrible week because my points against are just silly. All right, so let's make again talking about my team. I'm just gonna bet that I think. Oh man. Yeah, sure. Okay. I think that I'm gonna play Zach Ertz on my flex again, the 2 tight end flex. Unless there's like an unforeseen injury with like Deontay, or if Jonathan Taylor's like out. Actually, I will not play Sarfin if Jonathan Taylor's out. But unless there's some injury, so we can like maybe nullify this. Or if you don't care, I'm just gonna bet that Zach Ertz will outscore anybody on my bench that isn't a quarterback. I have Sermon, Leggett, Chandler, Lazard, and Hill.
You
you
know
wanna
I'm
repeat
going to
that.
take the field, Colin.
You got to field the 5 boys.
Even if you move some stuff around, I can't wait for you to drop Trey Sermon.
Oh, he'll be dropped tomorrow morning, 100%.
Okay, I was gonna say I would take a rest of season Zeke versus Sermon bet. Both belong on the waiver wire. Both are currently on our bench.
Yeah. If I didn't have waivers like in the queue, then he would be on the waivers right now.
All right, cool. Yeah. I will take the bench.
Yeah, I can't go a week without betting on Ertz. He's my Sam Howell this year, and he's on the same team.
I was gonna say I can't wait to see who's on that team next year. There's gonna be some like 32-year-old receiver that goes to that team, and you're gonna be all over him. I just know it.
Yeah, no, not DeAndre Hopkins. He's too big of a name. It has to be some random dude. Yeah. Oh, Sterling Shepard probably. It'll be.
Oh my God, yeah.
You got anything?
That's what I had. I had a couple, 1v1er type bets for you to this week.
You know what? I think I kind of like a light bet week. You know, we've had it'll be easy to digest. So it makes sense to me. Are you happy with that?
Ecstatic, Colin.
Yeah, we each brought 1 or 2 to the table. So
that's what I call a potluck right there, Colin.
all right. So I guess that'll do it then. That's all the bets. That means that we're wrapping up this episode. I want to thank oh wait. Ooh, oh, wait, 1 second. Where did I put that fucking flashlight? All right, phones have flashlights. All right, edit this part out, Colin. Oh, this one's really bright. Oh wait, my background. All right, the shadows. It's not spooky. It's kind of better. I want to thank everybody for watching this episode of the podcast. Ooh. All right. Thanks for watching this episode of the podcast. I want to thank you for if you're a subscriber, then thank you. If you're not a subscriber, then also thank you, but you should subscribe. Make sure to comment down below, and I mean it, please. Let's try to get more than like 5 names out there being the 3 biggest fans, and then some of us commenting. Let's get I want to see Eric. I know you watched. Cash, I know you're out there. Luke, comment, buddy. Come on. If you want to get on the pod as a guest this year, and I want you, then you better comment. Make sure to like and subscribe. I think I already said that. Ring the bell, do all that stuff. Good luck with everybody. Have fun Halloween. Stay safe. Make sure you look both ways. You make sure if you're driving, don't hit anybody. All that stuff. Get a lot of candy. I hope you give a lot of candy out. Fitzy, I hope you get somebody at your house. Are you going to be home?
We don't know.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right.
No, November 1st due date.
You have a Halloween baby.
We have not made Halloween plans.
Yeah. Oh, Sean's son is right around there too. And that's it, I think. All right. You got any plugs, Fitzy?
Just one, Colin, because you mentioned we want new names in the comment section. I'm sorry to say, Mike, you've already been a guest. Adam and Chris Colby, you are exempt from this offer. The first person who's not on that list of 3 to make a comment this week will be booked as the next guest of the Why Do Boys Make podcast.
No,
puts it in there?
Are you prepared to commit to this no matter who it is?
I hope it's Yogi Fenoy. I hope we have that guest.
I would love that. All right, please, somebody comment. I love that. Let's get a guest. We're nearing the halfway point. We've only had one. Let's ramp it up. All right. Speaking of ramp it up, let's ramp up this exit here. As I am Colin.
I'm Fitzy.
And that's everybody. So gamers, game on.
Just right. Dancing through the day. Games, please tell me why they play. Ooh, the games. Ooh, we play. Mike, he is our friend. His pain, it never ends. Chris, we have 3 Chris. Boom, boom. Their team's on this. is his friend. Except it's Mike Evans. And the Adams team slaps. He drafts the boom boom clap. Boom boom clap.